you go. Yeah, so it's right.
Oh, almost forgot. Good looks. Can't get the kids dirty. Come on. All right, I'm gonna go. Let's go. Hey, good idea. Good looks.
I do that on the ramp.
Yes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to 94 Feet. I'm your host, Kade Cameron. I'm joined here by Danny Stipanovich. And as we do every episode, let's get into it. Danny, what are you wearing today?
Today, I'm rocking the Rams up top, Kade. Come on, it's Rams House Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow. So I'm repping the Rams on feet, though. Bringing out the cool grays. Some low-key again. Kade, what you rocking?
All right, you know what? I'm going something similar. At least the pants are similar to what I wore last time I was in studio. With on feet, you know, something a little more classic. I got the Kentucky high-top dunks. Something
Okay.
a little bit more classic.
Are you a dunk high or dunk low type of dude?
I like both. I think, oh my God, I don't know. I think when it comes to dunks, the dunk low looks better, but I think just because of how similar it is to the Jordan, I think you got to go Jordan high, dunk low. That's the way I look at it.
Jordan. Okay. Even though I kind of like the color blocking of the dunk highs, kind of a little bit more than the Jordan 1. Am I bugging for saying that? I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
That's just me, but hey, let's get into it today.
Okay.
Obviously a huge weekend in the NBA with some, or a huge week in the NBA with some of the trade deadline stuff. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about some of our reaction to the All-Star Game roster, see where we're at there. And of course, we're going fit of the week, and we're going to mix it up a little bit too. We're going to do a hot or not, discussing a little bit of James Harden and his fits over the past few years. But let's get into it. Obviously, NBA trade deadline. Lots to talk about there, but of course, we had a huge trade drop with that on Thursday morning, I think. Let's get into that one. We got Torrey Craig going to the Suns.
Huge.
Coming
back, the return.
Exactly. Hey, trying to run it back like 2021.
Right.
No, we're playing, though. Of course, Brooklyn Nets, Philadelphia 76ers. Nets get, who are they? They got Drummond. They got Seth Curry, and, of course, the big name Ben Simmons. And I think the winners of this trade, you got James Harden heading over to Philadelphia to play with Joel Embiid. How are we feeling about this one, Danny?
I think it's a win-win, Kay. What about you? I really do think it's a win-win. The Sixers were able to move Ben Simmons, a player who didn't want to play for them, and they were able to get James Harden, a top 10 player in the league. This is something that never happens because how do you trade someone who doesn't want to play? Daryl Morey literally had no leverage, and somehow was able to get James Harden. And the Nets won as well because they got Ben Simmons. I mean, James Harden didn't want to play in Brooklyn because of Kyrie, and they were able to fill out the roster a little bit more. I've been saying that this Nets team is playing with a bunch of G Leaguers, and they were able to get Seth Curry, Andre Drummond. I know Drummond's, he's a little bit washed. His game is, maybe more fit for the 90s, but it's a win-win. They got a big down low. Claxton is okay, but I feel like Drummond, he's a big body. Seth Curry, such an underrated player. Last year, Joe Harris kind of stunk it up in the playoffs for them, but I think Seth Curry's built for that moment. I like this trade. It's a win-win in my eyes. What about you?
See, I think one thing that you mentioned is that the Nets are getting a lot of key players. I mean, you mentioned it. I've mentioned it too. That this Nets team cannot be successful if they're not having a more depth, a roster with more depth. So being able to trade away Harden, bring in an all-star like Ben Simmons, as well as some key bench players as well, that makes a huge difference for the Nets. I think it comes down to, on paper, I think both teams won this trade. But I think it comes down to how healthy both teams can play throughout the rest of the season. Ben Simmons is a great player. I think he could work really well with Kade and Kyrie. Only issue is with how often they're injured. That kind of brings up concerns. I think that Ben Simmons is going to be a valuable member of that team. But if he's playing by himself out there and he doesn't have that help, I don't think that's necessarily a good look for the Nets. On the flip side of that, real quick, going over to Philadelphia and getting James Harden, you are losing bench depth there. That's going to be a huge killer for the 76ers. But you're bringing a guy, which a lot of people are comparing this duo now to be Kobe and Shaq-esque.
I don't want to hear it, bro. I do not want to hear that. I hope you did not. Did you just do that, or are you saying people are doing that?
No, people are doing that. I'm not.
Okay.
I think. I mean, I understand
That's
the similarities,
disrespectful.
but I don't think that you cannot compare the two.
Okay, I'll get into it. Are you done? Because I'll get into it why I still think this trade won't work for either team, because I feel like I still got the Warriors ahead of both teams. I got the Suns ahead. And then in the Eastern Conference, I'm losing my voice. I'm sorry. I'll take Milwaukee and I'll take the Heat. Kade, sub in for me so I can drink some water, bro.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No,
what do you think about that? Where do you rate these two teams?
I think at the end of the day, I'll put the Sixers ahead of the Nets for now. If you're looking at just both teams head to head, I think the Sixers are going to do a little better. Overall, you're right, though. I have the Suns ahead of them. I have the Warriors ahead of them. If they keep playing the way they are playing, I have Miami and Chicago ahead of them. You have.
I don't know about Chicago. Why do you have Chicago over them? I feel like the young Bulls, they might be a little too young. Maybe a year out for them.
I say I don't think they're necessarily a better team necessarily. I think you might have the Nets and the Sixers ahead of them still talent-wise. Well, not even, talent-wise, but I still think at the end of the season you still might see the Bulls come into that second seed right now just because of the way they're playing, especially with the way that the Nets have been playing 10 games. I mean, shoot, last week we were talking about 7 games straight, and they still haven't won. So that's not looking too good for them. The 76ers doing well themselves. It's weird to think that as of now, I mean, there's so many good teams coming out of the East this year. I feel like that hasn't really been set over the previous seasons. But it's wide open still. So, I mean, I'm saying that you might see Chicago coming in as a 2, maybe the Heat finishing off the season as the 1 seed. But that's just what we're seeing right now. At the end of the season, we could see the Nets somehow surging their way to the top and taking the 1 seed. You can have the Bucks being the 1 seed. You can have the Sixers being the 1 seed. I mean, there's so many possibilities. I don't think it's going to happen. Okay. I'm just saying there's so many possibilities of who we can see as the 1 seed, who we can see as the top team in the East.
I kind of want to break down why I think both teams won't work. I'll start with James Harden, and I'll start with Philadelphia, and you let me know if you agree. I feel like he's been on better teams than this Philadelphia team. Going back to 2014 through 2016, he had Dwight Howard. At the time, Dwight Howard was a dominant big. I mean, he was only around 30 years old. He made an all-star team between those years. 2014, lost in the first round to Portland off that Damian Lillard legendary shot. 2015, the year after, lost. They ran into Golden State. Game 3 in that series, Western Conference Finals, 2015. James Harden, he shot 3 for 16 in Game 3. Game 5, he shot 2 for 11 with 14 points. I feel like I've seen this before. I'm not sold on this Philly team. 2016, a first-round exit to Golden State, where in Game 6 he shot 2 for 11 from deep. He scored 10 points. And then 2018, 2019, I feel like was the best Rockets team with Chris Paul, Clint Capella, Eric Gordon. Chris Paul, he was ball dominant, but he was able to distribute, let James Harden cook. And then the biggest thing for me was I feel like Clint Capella works better with James Harden than Embiid will do, because Embiid, that offense runs through Embiid. He's been there for too long for him to just let James Harden halfway through the year.
He's been there since the process started.
Exactly. He's been there for 6 years, I feel like. I don't see this team working out. I feel like James Harden plays better with a rim running center like Clint Capella, who, he kind of just sets screens, catches lobs, because James Harden can feed it, but the offense through Joel Embiid, that's you feed the ball to the post and you watch him back someone down for 5 seconds. So people were calling it Shaq and Kobe. I don't know. That Shaq and Kobe didn't work out for a reason. They split up for a reason. Only thing, like you mentioned this earlier, they lost so much bench depth. Tobias Harris, I feel like he's a solid 3. Like that's a great 3. They got Maxey, a solid second-year player. Like I said, second-year player. How's he going to do in the playoffs? He's averaging 17 points per game. I don't know. Matisse Thybulle, they're playing him 27 minutes a game, but he'll only give you 5 points a game. I mean, he's great for defense. The pressure's on for Harden, and I feel like this isn't his best team. And then the thing that I feel like everyone's forgetting, Kade, is Doc Rivers is still the coach. Do I have to go through how many times Doc Rivers has been in the playoffs? He's blown 3 3-1 leads. He's blown 1-2-0 lead, and he's lost Game 7 at home 5 times. I don't trust this Philly team. I've seen James. I'm a huge James Harden fan, man, but I just don't see this working. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think James Harden has played for better teams. And as you mentioned, I mean, James Harden does work better with a rim-running type of center. But at the same time, I mean, I think the biggest thing coming out of this, or one of the biggest losses for Joel Embiid in this situation is I just don't think he's winning MVP anymore. I don't know what that chemistry is going to be. I think Embiid's happy to have Ben Simmons out of Philadelphia now. I hope that helps with the chemistry there. I'm starting to grow on James Harden. I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of him back in the day when he was with the Rockets, but he's kind of grown on me now. And as I mentioned earlier, it all comes down to the bench depth. How much is James Harden going to be able to play? How much is Joel Embiid going to be able to play? And if they are getting major minutes, how long are they going to stay healthy? That's you saw it last year in the playoffs with Joel Embiid. I mean, he was struggling to play through some of those games with his knee injury. James Harden, he's been out pretty consistently. I mean, in the time that James Harden was with the Nets to have that trio between him, KD, and Kyrie, they played a total of 16 games. That's crazy. And I mean, it wasn't all just him. I mean, Kyrie had his off-the-court issues and some injuries. KD has been dealing with injuries pretty much ever since he signed with the team. But I think it really just all comes down to how much time those starters can get in Philadelphia and how well they're going to be able to take that time, or to use that time, because when they don't got that bench depth, that's going to be the biggest issue I see with this Sixers team.
No, I totally agree. I'll kind of break down. I'm just talking this year, by the way. I don't think it's going to work this year. Maybe next year it'll work. But I'll kind of break down why I think the Nets won't win as well. Kevin Durant, he's still hurt. He's expected to return at the end of February. That gives them 22 games for him to play together with this team. Is 22 games enough for Steve Nash, second-year coach, to third year? I don't know. Second year, yeah. To, get this team chemistry going for the playoffs. And you mentioned this earlier. The Nets are the 8th seed right now. They're like 2.5 games behind the 7 seed. So that means they're going to be matched up with, I feel like they could be matched up with, maybe like a 4 or 5, like a solid team. Maybe the Bucks. The Bucks are the 4 seed, so they're going to be matched up with a tough first round team. And do you trust Kyrie? I don't trust Kyrie.
No.
In the playoffs, no. I'll go through it really quick. He broke up this locker room just last week. James Harden was like, did you see the story where James Harden saw Kyrie burning the sage in the locker room, and he was like, "Yo, this dude's just weird."
No, I didn't see that. I mean, what do you expect of that? There's videos of that. I remember, I think it was last year, the year before that, when Kyrie first made his return back to Boston. He was or maybe it was still when he was in Boston. He was going through a TD Garden and just burning sage on the court and all that. I mean, this isn't anything different. Some of the things that Kyrie has said, it's nothing new. Of course that people are going to think that.
I know, but it's like once you're actually his teammate, I feel like you're like, this dude's actually real. Is he really burning a sage in this locker room? So I thought that was pretty funny. And then a couple years ago, he couldn't lead the Celtics. The young players said multiple times on record, Tatum, Brown, that it was a toxic locker room. He left LeBron in the Cavs, and I feel like he's been hurt. Like he's on and off the court all the time. So I don't trust this Nets team to do much in the playoffs. What about you?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And as mentioned earlier, I think especially when it comes down to injury, I mean, KD hasn't been there pretty much a majority of his time as a Net. Kyrie's going through everything that he's been through, whether that's injury or just league protocol. Or just not even just sitting sometimes. I mean, and then you got Ben Simmons, who hasn't played this entire season, who's been sitting. It's interesting for sure. I mean, that's going to be an interesting way to see how that chemistry molds, and even if there is any chemistry that can mold with that. Because I mean, if you're bringing in somebody like James Harden, and with the 3, KD, Kyrie, and James, you're only playing 16 games together. Who knows how many games that Simmons, KD and Kyrie are going to be playing together.
That's what I'm saying. Give me the Heat and give me the Bucks over those two any day.
Exactly. Are you good with this right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, we're going to go through some of the other trades that happened as well. Yeah, I think it's probably one. I think it's safe to say this may have been one of the craziest trade deadlines of recent memory. I mean, you've got Porzingis going to the Wizards.
You want to touch on that? How do you feel about that trade? I feel like that's actually huge. A lot of people are clowning on the Wizards for taking on Bertans, that Bertans contract. I actually really love this trade, Cade. I love this trade for the Mavs. What about you?
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good setup.
KP obviously wasn't working. I'm a huge KP fan. I think he's going to do fine in Washington, fresh start. But, they did not treat KP right. In the playoffs last year, everyone was trashing KP. They sent him to the corner, and they didn't give him any looks. What is he supposed to do? Luka is just totally ball dominant. We talk about James Harden. Luka's another level. Like, this dude, he's pounding the rock the entire game on that offense. And you bring in Dinwiddie 2 years ago, averaged 20 points a game. Bertans 2 years ago, averaged 15 points a game. People were talking about how he's, the best shooting big in the league. That was just 2 years ago. Everyone forgot about that. Bertans with Luka, oh man, that's going to be raining threes. Dinwiddie, another, it's going to be interesting to see how that offense works, with Luka and Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie kind of ball dominant as well. But I feel like it's a solid trade for the Mavs. A little bit of a sneaky team in the West, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, I mean, they haven't been able to get it done the past few years in the postseason. But I think this trade may put them in a position where they can kind of get that run going for them. Well, they've had first-round exits the past few years.
It's 2 years in a row, but that's because they ran into Kawhi and Paul George the past 2 times. There is no Kawhi and there's no Paul George, so maybe that's the biggest difference.
Might be a little bit different for sure. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it could really turn out well for them, especially seeing how the playoffs start for the Western Conference. I mean, it's about time that the Dallas Mavericks kind of get back into their rhythm and actually start making a little bit more noise in the season and in the playoffs as well. And I think this trade's going to help them a lot. I really think it will. And of course, some of the other trades going on. How about the Kings getting Sabonis? It's Pacers getting Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Tristan Thompson. I mean, yeah, that's one. That was I think that first big trade that happened that kind of got people thinking.
Seriously, my opinion on that trade is, I know Halliburton's nice, but there's so many guards on the Kings. I'm not sure why they chose Halliburton to trade, but I kind of like this trade for the Kings. I feel like I'm kind of on an island on this one. But Sabonis, he's an all-star center. He can do everything. He averages near a triple-double. Everyone, I get they had to get rid of Halliburton. That's tough. I'm sorry, Kings fans, but it's a solid trade. I'm sorry. I kind of like the Kings roster. What about you, Cade?
Yeah, honestly, I'll admit I think it's a little bit interesting what the Kings are doing, especially for how much motion they made during this trade deadline for being they're not even in the play-in picture.
10 seed. Or they're the 13 seed.
Yeah, so they're not even in the play-in picture. So I thought it was interesting. I'm not really quite sure what they're doing because, I mean, you're trading away a young star like Halliburton, you're trading away Buddy Hield. I don't know if they're rebuilding. I don't know if they're trying to sell. It's kind of all over the place. I mean, I think
it's also the Kings.
Yeah, it's true. I think in my opinion, I see them. They're just in a position where it's like they know they're not going to be able to make any moves this year. So I think they're just trying to set themselves up for next year at this point. At least that's the way I see it. Well, how about you?
Well, I feel like Buddy Hield, he's been wanting to get out of Sacramento the past 2 years. He's been in trade talks for a while now, and they just never dealt him. I kind of agree. I don't, the Kings are kind of lost. They can still make a push for the play-in game for sure. They're the 13 seed. They're only one game behind the Pelicans, who are sitting at 10. Pelicans made some moves as well, but I kind of like this Kings team. I'm a big fan. I'm a Sabonis guy, so I might be a little biased, but I kind of like this trade for the Kings.
No, I do too. And we'll go into one more trade real quick. You got the Trailblazers completely moving everyone out. CJ McCollum going to the Pelicans. How you feeling about that one?
Man, I shed a tear. Dame and CJ, man, it's sad to see it go, but it had to happen eventually. The Trailblazers, they've tried the past who knows how long. The farthest they got to was the Western Conference Finals, and they got swept by the Warriors. It was time to do something different. Hit the rebuild mode. Dame's probably out unless they make some big splash, bring in a big name. But Trailblazers, they tried. I can't clown on them for trying, but it just didn't work out. Goodbye, CJ. Good luck in New Orleans because, man, I don't know. It's tough down there, too.
See, we're talking about sneaky teams, too. I think that you might see the Pelicans. I mean, I think they can maybe sneak in as a play-in team. I don't think they're going to make the play or go past that, but, I mean, it's a possibility.
The Pelicans with CJ, they need Zion to get healthy. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That is the one thing that is holding them back
Yeah.
right now. But at the same time, if Zion is able to stay healthy, at least for the end of the season, I mean, it's a
Yeah,
possibility.
you're right. Valanciunas down low. He's a formidable big for sure. You got Zion, CJ, Bi. I don't know what's going on with this Pelicans team. I feel like they have a solid roster, but they just can't win games. They don't play defense. So I don't trust them in the playoffs. CJ's not. It's not like CJ's a lockdown defender. He'll give you buckets, and that's about it. They can already get buckets. That's the thing. Bi, he'll give you 25 any night. So I don't know. I don't trust this Pelicans team yet.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think they're a long way from becoming a real contender in the West. Moving over from the trade talks of the NBA over to the All-Star Game rosters. We're just going to touch on this real quick. How you feeling about the All-Star Game rosters? Who do you think is going to win this? Do you think?
I think it's going to be LeBron in a landslide.
Yeah.
I mean, KD, he was kind of checked out. Like he didn't even care that he was there. I felt like. I mean,
you didn't feel like he was there. He had the big board.
Oh, he wasn't like engaged.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
get
like
that.
bro, have some emotion. Yeah, LeBron, KD doesn't know how to draft. There's a reason why I guess there's players and GMs. So and le GM.
Yeah.
So yeah, LeBron's gonna kill it. Come on.
No, I agree completely. I think, you look at that LeBron team. You've got the former MVP. You got Jokic and Giannis running together at the same time. That's nasty.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, possible MVP this year, or he's definitely an MVP candidate. DeMar DeRozan's having a sneaky good year. LeBron obviously starting. You've just got the depth on that team.
Yeah, but plus KD's not even playing.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not helping a lot. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a great All-Star game. I think that's something to look forward to. It's next weekend, right? Not this upcoming weekend. Yeah, okay, I was going to say with the Super Bowl, they're not.
No,
pushing it
they're
the
not
rest.
competing yet.
Exactly. All right. Big week in the NBA, but hey, we got some big fashion too. What's your fit of the week, Danny?
Fit of the week, I'm going to the well. The OG Jordan Clarkson. This dude's just a fashion icon in the NBA. Baggy jeans, little leather jacket with some wool. I don't know. Maybe it's cold over wherever he's at in Utah. And then maybe they kind of look like off-white dunks, kind of like straps on the front. I don't think it's off-white. It has to be like some Syracuse.
Hey, wait, hold up. No, they got the tag on it too, so I bet it is.
It's off-white. I've never
Yeah,
seen
it's
those
gotta
before.
be.
Those are fire.
I wonder if it's it's not nothing from like the Nike collaboration that is.
No.
It might be something of their own, but
Yeah. So I'm definitely winning this week, Kate. I'm going
I
up
don't
3-1.
know.
I'm going.
Hey, if you go up 3-1, don't blow that 3-1 lead. All right, but for me, I went with Scary Terry Rozier. He got little fits put together. I got to say that with the Carhartt jacket. He's got some. I don't know what material it is, but he's got these like baggy black pants. But it looks good. It almost reminds me of like ski pants, kind of just that same material. He's got the fitted on. He's rocking with the glasses. Nice watch, and then of course on feet the shoes. It's like I guess Bapes type of or style.
The
for the
Bapeses?
yeah,
Yeah.
the Bapeses, yeah. And it's like a nice mocha colorway. It's a good fit overall. I think it looks pretty good. The little bit more of a neutral color. Well, I've been going neutral recently.
This is going to be tough. I feel like this week's going to be
is.
tough. You want to get into the next segment?
Yeah, but of course, with fit of the week, make sure you're on Instagram, Twitter, vote on who you think will win. 94 Feet Show, follow us there. But yeah, next segment. So we're going to be switching up a little bit today. We're not going to be going into too much of the sneaker drops just because we covered so much of that last week. We're going to go into a hot or not. So we're going to be looking over a NBA player. We're going to see what his fits are looking like, how they look on, and
Yeah, if you're listening to us live right now, you can check us out on YouTube at 94 Feet Show and actually see what outfits we're talking about. And we're talking about a player who's hot in the news, James Harden. Kate, the first fit, is this hot or not? Because this is not it right now. This is like some raincoat. This green raincoat. You're indoors, bro. What do you need a raincoat for?
I was going to say, I like the attempt there. I think it's not necessarily a horrible look. I think it's just kind of simple. You're going very neutral with everything else. You just got the black hoodie on, normal, just jeans. Nothing too crazy with the shoes, and then you got that bright green jacket.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's just a kind of lame excuse to kind of just throw something nice on and go with it. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that either.
That's not how you layer things. Come on, James.
Oh, not at all.
All right.
Hey, but next one, though.
Next up, we got, okay, little bit. He's rocking like the bandanas all over. Instead of putting a bandana on his head, he just decided to throw it all over his body. This is hot.
Oh, no, I like that a lot, too. I mean, what's that pattern called? Like paisley, right?
I don't know.
Okay, I think it's paisley. But, yeah, I mean, you got, like, a weird stitch fit of, like, just a whole bandana jumpsuit, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean...
I like the shorts, actually. I feel like I would rock just the shorts and maybe, like, a white tee. I wouldn't do, like, the two bandana... You know what I mean?
No, I was
just
gonna say,
keep
I
the
like
shorts crazy.
I do like the shorts.
maybe not the
Actually,
top.
one thing that I noticed when I was looking at all this stuff is that James Harden do like those button-ups. Either the button-ups or if he's rocking with like a jacket or something, he's gonna go something that's a little more open. He's not about pulling the shirt over his head.
He's feeling himself in this one too. He's got the hands rolling right now. He's looking at the camera.
He knows he's on
he's
camera.
feeling himself.
All right, how about that next one?
Next one, this is another hot for me, bro. I actually really like this baseball outfit. It's kind of like an oversized baseball jersey where they cut off the jersey like kind of at like the forearm, and then the oversized the shorts, like baseball pants that are shorts. That's fire. Got the Balenciaga runners. I don't know how I feel about the neon green. That might be a little too much, but hey, this is hot.
I was gonna say, I think the fit overall is pretty nice. I think the shoes kind of do mess with that. Those bright neon green. I mean, you do have those accents of neon green right along the shoulder or the sleeve of the shirt, but I'm just not a huge fan of the shoes. I still think it's a great fit, though. I think it just needs some adjusting. Next one, that's not too bad at all. Hey,
I'm a big fan of suits that are not boring. Like, just like the funeral suits. I like what he's doing with this suit. I'm sorry. This is when he won the MVP in 2018. He's kind of dripped out. I don't know what color that is, like beige, and he's got like the leprechaun prints. Or three-leaf clovers or something on the suit.
I think it's just like a flower or something.
Flowers or something. That's kind of fire.
Like.
I kind of want to cop.
It's kind of interesting. Now that I'm starting to go through this, I'm starting to realize James Harden does like those two pieces a lot, where he's rocking the same style pants and shirt. In this case, jacket and pants. But yeah, this is a fit right here. I mean, he's with the glasses too. I mean, he's pulling it off well in that one. I think that might be the best one I've seen out of the pictures we're looking at. It's a good look, for sure. For sure.
I want a suit like that, man.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know how I feel about like the oversized coat though. Like his coat goes down to his knee.
I think it. I mean, for a fit like that, I think it looks good.
Yeah.
All right. How about that next one though?
Next up, hey, this is not it, Kade. For me, nah.
It gives me those vibes of the first one we looked at, where it's kind of like he threw together like a decent fit around a key piece to it. Like, I mean, that jacket's a nice looking jacket. But I mean, you look at the pants. I mean, they're not. I'm not a huge fan of the pants. The shoes are all right.
I don't know. It looks. He's like. It looks like he's coming out to a boxing match. I don't know what it is. He looks like Apollo Creed from Rocky or something. Like, I don't know. He looks kind of sad. It might be the hoodie. He's got like a do-rag on. He's kind of dark. I don't know. He doesn't look too friendly in this one to me.
Hey, that may have been when he was playing with Westbrook in Houston.
He was trying to get out.
Oh, for sure. All right, I think last one on here. We should have ended with a good one.
We
honestly.
gotta end with some trash. James, what are you doing, bro? This looks like feet on feet fire. Those might be. Are those Yeezys? Okay.
Nah, I don't think so.
So I don't even know what those shoes are actually. I don't want any all red shoe unless it's the Yeezys.
The
Red
Yeezy
Octobers. The red. If it's not the Red Octobers, like, come on, what are we doing? The skinny jeans with like the button up over, like not tucked in.
I think one of the biggest problems I see with this fit, I think a lot of people end up doing it, is they'll like, at least this is the way I see this fit, you get a nice pair of shoes, you want to rock them, but you just want to rock them, you don't care what you're wearing with it, you just want to rock it, so you throw those nice shoes on, and then you throw some like just trash up above, like you throw on some like basketball shorts and like just a plain tee, like nothing crazy that like really complement those shoes. It's like putting nice rims on a really beat car, that's exactly what it is. Can't say that about this picture. I mean, James Harden, he's got the money to look good, so he's gonna look good, but that's the vibes it gives me. You got those bright red shoes on with a very basic look overall. I mean, it looks like he's there to take pictures for the game, not actually playing the game. But
I know.
Yeah, so it sucks that we ended on a bad one, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that one. I think that's it for today.
That'll do it for today, Kate. Yeah.
Hey, check us out on YouTube, 94 Feet Show. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter as well. Make sure you vote on those fits of the week. And this was a pretty good show in my opinion.
I liked it.
I was gonna say, let's see what happens this week. Let's see what happens. I mean, next week we'll be able to kind of dive into the All-Star game, maybe get into the dunk contest a little bit. But
I'm excited. Yeah, your camera turned off, so I hope it recorded everything.
Gosh, that scares me.
Anyways, have a great
have
rest of your day.
Have a great day, everybody.
If you made it this far, you're a real one. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure to hit that like button, show some love, subscribe, and turn on post notifications.
And if you haven't followed us on any social media yet, follow 94 Feet Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you.